And you'll notice that the better you become at solving that problem, the more money you'll make, the more in demand your business will be, and just the more enjoyable it will be, because we all love solving problems. So this video is for you if you're a video business, videographer, or video producer. You know, over the years, having been a videographer and growing my business through my first 6-figure year to crossing $500,000, and now we're on track building a multi-7-figure video agency, there are some fundamental lessons that I learned along the way that really, if I had learned it earlier, it probably would have sped up my progress. You know, there are some lessons in life that you've got to kind of learn it the hard way, but there are also other lessons that if somebody had told me this earlier, it actually would have just made life a whole lot easier. So I want to share these 9 things with you, okay? So the first thing is life becomes easier when you pick a niche. So literally when you decide to pick a niche, and when you decide to zone into one particular industry or one particular style, it changes the game, because you now become a specialist at understanding a specific problem, a specific industry, a specific type of client. And the alternative to being to niching in is remaining a generalist. And as a generalist, you're always going to be competing on pricing. You're never really going to be seen as somebody who's premium. You're always going to be seen as somebody who's kind of just one of many. Whereas when you decide to niche in, you quickly show clients or people in the market that, wow, these guys have taken a stand. They've decided to focus on just becoming, you know, the best at one thing. Once you decide to do that, you can charge much higher. You can become a lot more creative with the way that you package up your services. It's easier to acquire clients because you know the pain points really well. One of the other things, if you're not niched in, and if you're just a generalist, is you're kind of always going to be at the bottom of the barrel. Like when you niche in, you become a specialist, you instantly climb the ranks as like the top, say 5-10% of the market. When you're a generalist, you're kind of just like mid to bottom with everybody else. And when you're mid to bottom, you can't charge premium. You're constantly having to pitch your services. For us now, like we don't really even pitch our services. We qualify our prospects if they're ready to work with us, and then we give them a service agreement, and then we go on from there. That wouldn't have happened if we didn't niche in. If we just decided to remain broad and be generalist, we'd still be chasing our tail, we'd still be fighting for scraps, okay? So that's the first thing. The game changes when you decide to niche in. So the second thing is self-limiting beliefs will keep you poor. Now, what I mean by this is we all have ceilings in our mind, in our subconscious mind, of what we believe we're capable of what we believe we're worthy of. So I'll use the niching exercise as an example. If I said to you that you need to go out and niche into a specific industry, and within 12 to 24 months, you're going to be running $1 million company, right? You might think to yourself, by default, that's impossible, Andy. Firstly, I can't niche in. Secondly, how the heck are we going to make millions of dollars within 2 years? That's not long enough. That's too short. I've never seen anybody else do that. And you have all this kind of self-talk that's negative. That's not. You have all this self-talk that's negative. That's the self-limiting belief there. And what usually happens in business is when you're capped at a certain level of income, it's also usually an indication that's where your self-limiting belief is capped at as well. So what you want to do is you constantly want to break through your beliefs. And if you're at a point where you're making 5K a month, 10K a month, you might be having 5-10K self-limiting beliefs because you might think, well, we're not actually capable of breaking through that. And that's going to affect the way that you quote, the way that you pitch your services, the way that you charge clients. So you just got to be aware of that. If you're running into a cycle where you're constantly not getting ahead, you're constantly not making money, check your belief system and ask yourself the question, do I genuinely believe that I'm worthy of charging twice as much as what I'm charging now? Can I successfully get to my first 20K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month? Because anything is possible according to what you believe. So if your belief system is quite poor and you're kind of like, I'm not that good, it's really hard, and the economy is really bad, and the media is saying that, everybody's tight and customers aren't spending, there's a fine line between being like realistic and understanding that, and then believing that that's what it is. You have to believe that you are capable of more and that you are worthy of everything, right? So you're worthy of achieving your dreams. You're worthy of building that business. And if your self-limiting belief is capped, the symptoms will be that you're stuck where you are. You're not growing past it. So usually for me, I've realized that if I'm ever stuck in a situation where I'm running through a cycle of poor months, or I'm not getting past the problem, it's usually a self-limiting belief that I've got to check, and I've got to do the inner work to then get the outcomes that show up in real life. The third thing is be willing to take risks on client projects. Now, what I mean by this is sometimes clients might come to you and say, we're wanting to achieve X, right? And you go, wow, that's a pretty ambitious goal. And then you say, no, I don't think we can do that. Sometimes it's wise to say no, but there are some times when that opportunity is actually what you need to stretch yourself as a business to actually help you get to the next level. I can think of a few times where we've said yes to clients when they've wanted to do something quite ambitious, and it's actually unlocked a new service within our service offering. Next to that, we made a whole lot of bank as well. So be willing to take a risk, and then once they accept that, and once you accept that and you agree that you guys are going to do it, work relentlessly to ensure that it happens. And along the way, you're going to learn, you're going to grow, and you're going to optimize what you do. But if you're just stuck playing safe constantly, there's no room for growth there. Sometimes you're going to fail, and it's okay, right? But be willing to take a risk, and try and make it a calculated risk, right? But don't be timid, or don't be afraid of trying something new that's slightly outside your comfort zone, because often that's where the growth is needed, is when you just need to go just outside scope, and all of a sudden you discover a whole new world with what you're doing, right? So be willing to take risks on client projects. Not all the time, but pick and choose them. But if 1 out of 5 opportunities comes up, maybe it's time to say yes to that, okay? The fourth thing is focus on building long-term relationships with your clients. Now, this is crucial. One of the reasons why businesses don't succeed is because they have such a high churn rate with their clients, which means clients come in today, tomorrow the client goes, right? And when you start scaling a business, you need your customer acquisition cost, which is how much it costs you to acquire a customer, to be as low as possible, right? So if I acquire a customer, a client today, and we do one video project with them, or we do one project with them, my goal with them should be to do another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one, right? We want every single client that works with us to work with us for as long as we can. So part of that is focus on building long-term client relationships. A lot of times clients want partners in business. They want long-term providers who are going to be there for the journey with them. So if you can focus on being a good person, taking them out for coffee in the early days, put in a bit of that human interaction to try and win them over, and then put in that work early on, and then let them know, like, we're here not just for this one project. We want to nail this project so we've got the next one and the one after that, and we want to be a part of your guys' success. Which leads me to the next point, which is become a great listener. Okay, so 2 ears, 1 mouth. We got to do more of the listening, so that when we are talking, we're saying all the right things. When we're talking to our clients and we're letting our clients talk, we want to listen to what they're talking about. What are the problems that they're facing? What are they really trying to achieve? Because all of that information that we get from the client, we then use that to then recraft offers, to then resell them, upsell them into new packages, and upsell them into new services. Because in business, we always want to be solving a problem, right? We always want to be solving a problem. So the more grip, the stronger the grip that we have on our clients' pain points and our clients' problems, the easier it is for us to create value around that problem and offer it to them, okay? So as you're building up that long-term relationship, key part about that is becoming a great listener. And sometimes they're going to be saying a problem and you're constantly just providing this one solution that's over here. You see, a great listener doesn't listen to respond. A great listener listens to understand. And when you understand a client's problem, a person's problem, you have to remove yourself from the situation and you have to ask yourself, what is actually the thing that they need that's going to move them forward? And when you can solve that problem for them, the game changes, because they go, oh my gosh, wow, you're the hero in the story for them, right? So that only comes by way of being a great listener. Okay, it's not all about you. You don't constantly got to talk about yourself and how amazing you are. Be focused on where they're at. Be focused on what's going on in their world and how you can help get them to where they want to be faster. Now, the next lesson is you can do it all by yourself, but you shouldn't. What I mean by that is, yes, of course you can shoot, of course you can edit, you can upload, you can run ads for the client, you can do all the pre-production, of course you can do all that, right? Maybe for one client, maybe even 2 clients, but once you start scaling past 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 clients, and you're doing all that by yourself, the quality drops, you get fatigued, you get burnt out, your stress levels go up. So yes, you can do it all by yourself. If you're looking at doing this for the long run, look to offload some of that work. Look to bring in a video editor. Look to bring in a media buyer or somebody who does ads if you're running a video agency. Look to bring in perhaps a producer, right? Consider having a business partner. You know, the more you can distribute the load across board and you can just focus on the quality, the easier it is to deliver the result that you promise to the client. But if you say yes to everything and you do everything because you're trying to save pennies, and I've been there, you're going to burn out, you're going to take the load, and the quality of life drops really quickly because you've just got too many spinning plates, right? And what you once loved at the beginning, you now hate because this is taking away all the joy that you've gotten, sucked out all the life that you have. Right? So yes, you can do it all. But when you start finding good people in your network, good people in your circle, look to bring them in, right? Offer them potential partnerships, potential, contractor work. There's no harm in building a team. And if you're not quite ready to bring in employees, look to create just white label partnerships. We can just bring people in, offload the work. It's going to help you stay fit for the long run. Okay. The next lesson is life outside of work needs to be prioritized as well. So things like your physical exercise, things like having a break on the weekend, things like spending time with your family, with your partner, with your kids. Obviously, work is going to be very demanding, right? But the quality of life that happens outside of work inevitably will affect the business. So if you're just 100% focused on the business and you're like business, and you're given 1% over here, you'll think you'll be firing at 100% here, but I guarantee you you'll be at about 50%. So it's kind of like your personal life and your life outside of the business, the better that is, it actually increases the level of input that you have in the business. I'm constantly looking at ways to refine my mental health and my stillness and my being calm and reducing my anxiety and trying to find time and create space where I can just play and play with my inner child and just be my young self and not be so serious in business, because when I do that, I actually feel refreshed. And then when I feel refreshed, I come back into business and then I perform better in business. So life outside has to be prioritized. When I'm slacking off in the business and I go to the gym and I become consistent at the gym, all of a sudden that then transfers back into my business. But if I'm slacking off physically and I'm not going for runs, I'm not hitting the gym, that's going to reflect in the business as well. So life outside of the business, life outside of work needs to be prioritized, because that's actually going to help you perform better in the business. Number 8, kill your distractions. This is crazy. There's a lot of books that talk about the power of distractions and how distractions really are killer of dreams. Right? There's a book I read, Deep Work, that I can't remember who the author is, but that book basically talks about how people today are so consumed by social media, they're so consumed about world affairs and everything else going on in life, that they're actually distracted from what should be their main focus, which is their dreams and aspirations. And it's crazy how a little phone device can actually prevent you from reaching your fullest potential. I think it's so sad. And I've felt this as well, where I'm like, man, I'm not even reaching my full potential. Why? Because I keep getting distracted by my phone. Like this little freaking device that's stopping me from becoming this full force, right? So whatever your vices are, there's a level of discipline that we've got to bring into it, where we got to try to kill our distractions. One of the things that works really well for me is creating time blocks. So in the morning, we'll get up, we'll create a time block the day before where we've got like a 1 hour of just hardcore work, do our deepest task, and in my calendar I've got like blocks of time that are dedicated to the exact task that needs to get done. And I'll literally say in my calendar, like, deep work, no phone, and the phone will sit in another room or be on flight mode, or I'll turn off my Slack messages because I've got to get deep work done. Kill your distractions, because distractions are going to ultimately will keep you poor. Distractions will keep you poor. That you won't achieve your dreams, you won't fulfill your fullest potential, and you're going to be broke purely from distractions. Remove the distraction, become laser focused, and then start moving the needle with that focus. Okay. Now, the last lesson is solving real problems will make you bank. Now, I mentioned earlier about niching in. I mentioned earlier about building long-term client relationships, becoming a great listener. All of that is tied to solving real problems. You've got to be solving problems. It was Elon Musk who said, the greater the problem, the greater the reward. And basically what he's saying there is, the bigger the problem that you're solving, the bigger the paycheck that you deserve. So it's like SpaceX's mission is to put people onto another planet, become multi-planetary. Like, that's a pretty big problem if we run out of a planet, right? That's a pretty big deal. I'm sure they're going to have a pretty hefty price tag on that, right? Bring that back into your business. What problem are we solving as video producers, as videographers, or as video agencies? What problem are we solving for our industry? All right. And if you don't know what that is, go speak to your clients. What actually do they want to achieve in their business? What's the problem that they're trying to solve? And if you can help them solve it, you'll always have business. You'll always have a business. You'll always be able to make sales if you can solve problems. So fish for the big problems. Go out into the deep end. And it's easier if you do that, if you niche in specifically into one industry or into one style. The stronger the grasp that you have on your client's problems, you can always create a new product, a new service, because again, when people have a problem, when people have a flat tire, they need a new tire. They need a tire replacement. When people have a toothache, they're going to need to go to the dentist. When somebody has a problem, they're going to look for a solution. And the greater the problem, the greater the heights that they'll go to find a solution. So it's the same with your business. With the clients that you're talking to and you're working with, or you're potentially trying to acquire, ask yourself the question, what is the big problem that I'm solving here? And then get honest at you. How good are you at solving that problem? If you're doing an average job, try to get better at it. And you'll notice that the better you become at solving that problem, the more money you'll make, the more in demand your business will be, and just the more enjoyable it will be, because we all love solving problems. It's a game of progress. So become a master at solving problems and identifying where the problems are. And again, that comes by listening and speaking to your clients and creating those long-term relationships. Let me know what you think below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.